All right, let's add this to our title page. Our next topic we're going to look at is slope. So when we look at slope, we normally think of slope as, if I were to ask you what's our definition of slope, typically a student will tell me it's rise over run. And really what we're doing is we are describing the steepness of a line. So let's look at our first example. We're going to find the slope, and to find the slope, and in algebra we use the letter M, we're going to find the rise and run between these two dots. And so we're going to start at the left dot, and what you can do is you can kind of draw a triangle that connects the two dots, and we're going to look at the rise. So we go up 1, up 2, so our rise is 2. And then now we'll look at the run from where I left off. 1, 2, 3, so I went to the right 3, and that's positive. Going up is positive, going to the right is positive. So I get a slope of 2/3. So that means our line is going up. Anytime you have a positive slope, your line goes up. If you have a negative slope, your line would go down. So I want you to try 1A, copy the graph, include the two dots, and show me by drawing a slope triangle what the slope is. So before you do that question, I want to remind you to always reduce your fraction. So here 2/3 was already reduced, so I couldn't reduce it. But had the answer been 4/6, I would have had to reduce it to 2/3. So always reduce your fraction. All right, we're going to look at another example. Number 2. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to draw our triangle. And so now we're going to find our slope. So we're going to start with our rise. So I start at the left dot, and now I'm going to go down. 1, 2. So when I go down, it's going to be -2. And now when I run, going left to right, it's going to be a +2. So now, like we just talked about, you got to reduce your fraction, or if you can actually divide, -2 divided by 2 equals -1. So this negative here tells us that the line is going down. As we go from the left to the right, the line goes down. So always a negative for a line going down. Okay, try 2B on your own. Again, if you have a fraction that can be reduced, make sure you reduce it. All right, for number 3, we're going to look at finding the slope given 2 points. So now I don't have a graph. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use the slope formula. And the formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so we want to make sure we remember this formula. We write it down. We're going to use it again and again and again. All right, so I'm going to rewrite my formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so the reason why we have these small numbers, the 2 and the 1, is because every ordered pair is in the form of x comma y. X comma y. Since this is my first point, we're going to call this x sub 1, y sub 1. Since this is my second point, we'll call this x sub 2, y sub 2. So that means for the y2, I need to look here and plug in this 4. That's going to be 4. And now we got a minus the y1. And so the y1's here. So we have our minus, and there was a negative 1, so we put it in parentheses like that. Now let's take care of the x2. So that's 4 minus the x1, which was just 0. And so now we simplify this. And so we have 4 minus negative 1. And when you subtract, you can change the sign. So we, depending on what your teacher taught you, is leave, change, or change the line, or change the sign, you add a line. So now this becomes 4 plus 1, which gives us 5. And 4 minus 0 is just 4. And so our slope of the line that goes through those 2 points is 5 over 4. And just leave it as a fraction as long as it's reduced. Alright, go ahead and try 3A on your own. After you finish the question, make sure you complete the video. That way you get 100% on the report. Good luck.